Welcome, everyone. Welcome back from your tea break. So please give yourself a round of applause. Come, give the energy. Come on. Yes. Thank you. I feel the excitement from the crowd. Yes. Okay, a little bit background about myself. So most likely, I'm pretty sure nobody heard of this company called 6 Avenue PLT before. Or anyone heard of this company before? Yes. Okay, no. It's all right. Because after that, you'll know. Okay. So what is this company about? But before that, of course, I need to slightly introduce myself. So I'm very honored to be invited to be one of the speakers for this event. So a little bit profile. I was an accounting student background. So why an accounting student doing in this kind of digital stuff, okay? So I was also from Growth Hack Asia Magic. So everyone knows what magic does, right? We do magic over here. Yes, so after that, being 5 years in banking, investment banking, doing IPO and stuff, I ventured into digital marketing. Yep, from the Growth Hack. And then 5 years in digital marketing consulting. I've spoken on stage of Digital Free Trade Zone, DFTZ, during Malaysia Roadshow. So other than that, has been on stage of this business transformation together with One Belt One Road back on April. So right now, I'm currently the director for SimpleTax. So what SimpleTax does is that it is the first online e-tax platform solution in Malaysia. So of course, I won't be covering details about what tax is. What I want to share with everyone over here is not as chunky as the doctor just now. Wow, it was mind-blowing. So many technical stuff. But right now, I'll be covering more on the practical grounds in terms of how to digitize or transform a boring industry. Before I proceed, may I know any accountants over here? Awesome. We are cool. Accountants are cool. Okay, so do not perceive accounting as a boring industry. So what I'll be covering is what is SimpleTax. So it all starts off with the entire journey towards business transformation. We'll be covering in terms of how to transform. Just now we talked about products. In business, there are two things. Either you sell products or you sell service. So when we talk about products, all those digital stuff like chatbots, okay, Facebook marketing, sales funnel, all this comes in. But what about business that sells services? Okay, can Lazada sell service? I'm not sure. But there are platforms that sell services online. So right now in this Malaysia, I would say Malaysia, for those service sector, how are they going to transform themselves to be a part of this transformation era? It all starts from this entire journey for us, using us as an example. Okay, I'm from the professional industry, so it's kind of boring in the sense. So we started off in 2017 with the domain of gsd.com.my. It sounds like it's very official, okay, but we are not the official. We actually implemented the first GST implementation in Malaysia back in those days, and fast forward, GST abolished and SST implemented again. So we're actually going through a business transformation, and true enough, we did overcome that. And over here, this is the first transformation. And back in those days, the mostly easy disseminated information, I would say, is through DVD selling. But right now, everything is through online. So in essence, what we want to discuss is how do we revamp the entire service industry to move forward and put it online. So of course, you will be expecting what professional industry does and what is the perception of it. Do you think professionals are cool? I mean, accountings are cool? Cool, right? Or maybe you have the perception of they are being sexy. Yes, right? Or do you think it looks like this? Okay, I think most of us has the perception of accountants or professionals being this way. But let me share a little bit of what is happening worldwide. Okay, this is what is happening. One of the bigger firms in the world is called EY, Ernst & Young's. What they are actually moving on is into robotics. So they want to automate the entire process of servicing, in a sense. Try imagine, in the professional line, the heaviest, I would say heaviest cost is on the human capital. Why they go into robotics or automation is on chopping down the human capital as much as possible, because ultimately, we are not talking about some fancy stuff, we are talking about business survival. How do we leverage on the technology to enhance our business model to make survival? So back in those days during the bankings, I've been dealing a lot with business models, how it works, and how to actually excel in it. So first off, they are definitely going to chop down on the cost. So we are going to look what they are actually covering. They're covering on robotics, on chopping down. So it started off the insurance segment. So what we can see is that things are happening over there. But of course, it is not as advanced in Malaysia yet. So, I mean, talking is cheap. They say, oh, wow, so good. Everything is happening. Everything is good overseas. So what are the stats that supports? So we see that more than 55% of the startups had actually adopted digital business strategy for traditional businesses. So I believe those companies, it goes into e-commerce, or a lot of companies that sells products, they can leverage on the online marketplace and whatnot. But what about the traditional businesses? The transformation actually needs to take in from there, from leisure industry. So this is the stats for the States. But what we want to emphasize is Malaysia's stats is much more lower than this. And of course, why do you need digital business strategy? And of course, you need to actually punch in the excellent customer service. Like just now, you're leveraging on the chatbot. Okay, that is another form of actually giving in good customer service. But all in all, why do you do so much? It's because you want to increase revenue by so much and so much. Okay, needless to say, this is all about business and stats. But all in all, do you see business opportunity? Do you see business opportunity? Or do you know what business opportunity is? Or do you know what money is? So how does this come by in terms of, here we get another 2 questions, which is how to achieve business transformation. And of course, the next question will be, digital transformation for many companies means having a website and a social media presence. Is that it? Yes, correct. I see someone shaking their head. So let's goes directly into the fundamentals. So talking from experience, we actually founded this company called SimpleTax. So we actually entered or actually went through a lot of hurdles, obstacles. It's not always rainbows and sunshines. So transforming a traditional business as compared to going in directly to the new phase of business, it's very cool and stylish. It's a very, very hard thing to do because you have a lot of baggage. So this piece is actually very, very potential. So how do we transform in a sense? So based on our past few years of actually banging the wall, I laid down these 5 essence. Okay, market analysis, cross-border transformation vacuum, human capital, digital structure framework, and of course, the core value. So what are all this? I would say these are the fundamentals of how we successfully transform ourselves. Okay, we will be covering not so much about the digital stuff in terms of the tools and the tracking and the analyzing and the bombastic of data science. No, I do not have that. What I have is that how to actually grow your business with the help of digital. So what is market analysis? It all boils down into these 5 things: technology readiness, behavioral switch, audience appetite, acceptance level, and market mismatch. Okay, when we actually entered into the market back in those days, like 1 year ago, we were very, very excited. We are going to implement all the stuff that we learned in Magic, Digital Growth Hack Asia, all those tools, fancy stuff we actually put in those conventional business. But one thing we hit it very, very hard is that there is the technology readiness over here in the local market, and whether the target audience that we are talking about, because when we are talking about business, there's only one thing that we want to talk about is revenue. It's all about survival. May I know how many startups here today? Startups, new businesses. Okay, cool. So everyone is like making lots of revenue per year already, I presume. So it's all good. But for businesses, it's all about survival. So the first thing is that the target market acceptance of your new tech or the new way of doing things, their behavior, are they ready to switch? This is very, very delicate, I would say. I mean, we talk about all those stats and demographic and whatnot, but ultimately it entirely boils down to how they interact with your product, your value. So the audience appetite acceptance level is very, very crucial on determining whether what tech are you bringing in to actually push it through to your market or target audience. So the next thing is cross-border transformation vacuum. Okay, what is, wow, you add the word vacuum, it sounds like a vacuum cleaner. So it's more than that. It's more than just vacuum cleaner in a sense. It was a joke. Yeah, you should laugh. Okay, it's okay. So cross-border transformation vacuum, what is that? Okay, what we deduce is for the entire conventional business is that whatever that is happening overseas in the same industry eventually will happen in the local scene, which means that this forms an invisible vacuum. Whatever that happens over there, over here, it will happen eventually. It's a matter of time of when this is happening. So it's entirely up to us to determine the degree of acceptance level and the degree of tech that you want to bring into the local scene for the local market. So we have tested a lot in terms of pushing in the tech for them to convert. Ultimately, it's about conversion. But a lot of businesses misunderstand that, okay, as long as I implement digital marketing, I put in a lot of tools, I put in a lot of internet stuff, cool stuff, and whatnot, and I'm going to make it. Ultimately, I would say no. Because we have did it, we tried it, ultimately, are they ready? If, let's say, for example, my target audience is used to be interacting in this manner, but I'm using another new approach to actually engage them. They are not familiar with that approach. With the same value, they will not be engaging with you. This is a very delicate thing that we need to take note of this. So other than that, the next thing, human capital. Talking about business transformation, and more than that is like, I mean, as the old proverb say, you can never train an old dog do new tricks. So what you need is that you need new blood. You need new blood to do new things. So of course, you need to hire people like us, young, energetic, of course, to actually do the stuff. So all in all, traditional businesses, I would say they hold a very, very strong potential. But in terms of where, we'll talk about it later. Digital structure framework. So when you see all these linkages over here, you can already foresee, okay, we are talking about automation. We are talking about systemizing and digitizing automation as much as possible. Digital sales funnel, marketing automation, customer service automation, fulfillment automation, and whatnot. All these are actually initially very product-centered. Let's say, for example, sorry, too much chicken wing. So, for example, you're talking about tracking. how many days conversion, then you retarget them with Facebook, and you put Facebook pixel at your page to redirect them to your website. All these are very good for products, yes. But try imagine, in Malaysia, the target audience they are talking about, are they that tax savvy in terms of going on to your mobile phone and then going to your landing page and interact with your landing page, reading through so many words, and then only make a purchase? Are they purchasing through that way? Or they merely go to Facebook, create a group, throw stuff over there and say, I'm selling something? Which do you think is converting better? I would say the one that has better engagement with your clients can convert better. Because ultimately, in the digital space, the biggest threat is on not knowing the other party. Let's say, try imagine, I'm selling something, I'm selling a product online. Everybody is selling the products online. What makes you so different from selling that product? Ultimately, there's something, the essence that we're talking about, which I'll be covering later on. That is the something. Do you know what is the something? Correct, because I haven't said it. So, this is the something that we will be covering, the core value. Because a lot of businesses, as we said, they want to go into digital. They want to implement as many digital strategies as possible. Email automation, based on behavioral trigger, all those tagging, they are all in there. But all in all, as we say, trading is good. But what if everybody is trading the same thing? I mean, we don't digital transform for the sake of digital transforming. And of course, this is just a means to an end rather than an end by itself. So what we want to focus is what is the real value that we can deliver to the customer, because it's being tested that once we have one valuable product, it is so valuable, but when you throw on into Facebook, they will interact with it no matter what. So we talk about very eye-catching creative, very eye-catching copywriting. I can assure you that right now when you open your Facebook dashboard, you can see a lot of those so-called very bombastic copywriting, very eye-catching creative and whatnot. Because agencies are flooding the Facebook newsfeed with all this already. They are already doing that. When everybody does that, you are no different. So ultimately, it's about your product. Because we actually tested this, it's about the virality of your product. If your product is really that good, focusing on the core value of the product by itself, with a little bit enhancement in the copywriting and of course on the creative, by itself, it can be shared by many, many users as well. So what we want to achieve is more than just you paid how many reach you can get, what is the CPC, what is the CPM, you want the lowest, but what we want to achieve is free. And organic reach is free, virality is free. And all this can only be created through a very, very good product. And it all boils down to the value. So as we speak, when you're trading product on e-commerce, what makes you so special in the sense that people want to buy from you? And of course, talking is cheap. All these are values that we spoke of. We want case study. So what is the case study that we'll be using? Of course, we'll be using SimpleTax as a case study. You talk about tax, right? How much do you know about the tax industry in Malaysia? I would say it all starts with this few. Industry positioning identification. So this is a very, very boring industry in a sense. How do we actually revamp this entire industry to make it leverage on the digital part to reach out further? Over here, this industry has few limitations. I would say crucial limitation. First off, how we actually trade, how we actually make money is with the information that you do not know yet and you are willing to pay for it, just like lawyer or legal. And of course, it requires mass human capital. These are all costs, and business is limited by location. So all these are limitation of that industry. So what we are coming in is that how can we come up with a disruptive business model that can actually overturn this? We actually went way beyond that and actually come back in. It's because if we can be there, why do we want to come back, right? It's because of the market acceptance. This is the biggest challenge that we actually faced. So what is this SimpleTax? SimpleTax actually hosts 3 things. I believe everyone is very excited for this coming SST. So we have SST, the new SST over here. And of course, if you want to say implement GST, you must abolish GST. So it's also over here. So if you talk about income tax or corporate tax, it's also here. So SimpleTax actually hosts all the tax module under one platform. So how is this so disruptive in itself? I would say this is the one. A platform that is readily accessible nationwide. The solution is on the cloud by itself. Because when we talk about true value, this is applicable to every industry. First, we hold on to that value in terms of what are the value that people are willing to use their money to exchange for it. So in our terms, it's actually the information that they do not know yet that they want to know. So over here, this is how it looks like. All the trainings are pre-recorded specifically to the very dot in terms of guiding them. For example, understanding the industry plays a crucial role in terms of squeezing or maximizing the cash cow. Why do I say so? For example, we know that the professional firms are in Klang Valley are very robust. What about Sabah Sarawak, Bintulu? If we can, at the same time, with a click of our finger, they are instantly knowing what is the latest information. You have a business model. You have a disruptive business model because right now, not only you are taking down the cost. We all know that professional costs are very expensive. But what if we can bring down the cost, make the efficiency of transmitting the information to their doorstep, their laptop, their tablet, even their phone? You have a business model. And over here, the biggest takeaway that I want to share with everyone over here is the hindrance or the obstacles that we face that you need to take note, which is the market readiness. We actually created something as advanced as, during the pipeline, you scan in the document, it will auto make the entries and everything will be tabulated. So a lot of things going on, but it boils down into one thing. Do your customer understand what you are trying to say? Because only they understand what you are trying to say, only they will put in their money in exchange for the service. So we came out with something. When we come back, it boils down into these 2 things of blending online and offline. Because there are certain times that there are jargons, they are so used to it, whereby you just say that word, they understand it instantly. So we blend online and offline together. Both seminar and the support system through online that can reach out nationwide. And with the help of only maintaining a small professional team, you are servicing nationwide different clients, regardless of demographic. And of course, talking is cheap. It needs to show by proof. So what we want to talk about more than just digital is about how you grow your business. So there's another way that this was taught in Growth Hack Asia Magic, which is on leveraging. You're leveraging on partners. So over here, through this platform, we are pushing out this initiative with Hong Leong Bank's Connect First. And of course, they have this initiative of pushing through this business transformation. And fair enough, we actually did the launching together. I think it was like last month, end of last month. And of course, this is their initiative of pushing through business transformation for SMEs. And of course, we talk about growing a business, growing a real business in a sense. We need to find ways, creative ways, in terms of tapping 2 things. If everything you have forgotten today, you only need to know 2 things. In order to grow revenue or build your business, only these 2 things. One is leveraging on technology, but It is just a supporting mechanism. It is not an end to itself. The other thing is leveraging on collaborative partners, just like today. I'm leveraging on Exabyte. Okay. So, okay. Thank you so much. I think that's about it. Yeah, that's a little bit more on Hong Leong Bank Digital Business Solution Service, SimpleTax Online too. You can see over there. So all in all, that's about it. I would say as long as you cope or hold on to the 5 principles that we have banged our head on the wall so many times to come up with it, you have a strong business model by essence. Okay, with that, I would thank you everyone for paying attention to me. Thank you so much. Give yourself a round of applause. Thank you. Oh, by the way, any questions? Okay, I presume there's no questions, so I'll pass back to you.